What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to talk about the practical money habits that work for me during periods of heavy saving. My first habit is not buying clothes unnecessarily. Since moving to San Francisco, I have not purchased a single article of clothing. I'm sure there's going to come a time again when I do a big haul or I shop on Black Friday, but right now that's just not financially aligned with where I am and what my priorities are. I only save clothing purchases for what's absolutely necessary. I do not online shop. I do not shop in person. I also stay away from casually browsing department store windows or going into different clothing stores because I know myself and I know that I will be tempted to try something on and that'll turn into being tempted to buy it. My second financial habit is to borrow books instead of buy them. San Francisco in particular has accessible free public libraries where there isn't even a late fee on books that you've borrowed. I reserve book purchases for titles that I really enjoyed on a first read. My third financial habit is leveraging the employer-sponsored FSA for healthcare and medical costs. I route things like over-the-counter prescriptions, provider copays, and even lymphatic drainage treatments through my employer-sponsored FSA. And routing these expenses through the FSA helps me save $1,000 by shifting an equivalent amount of taxable income into pre-tax FSA dollars. My fourth financial habit is to track every penny in and every penny out. After making my budget once I moved to San Francisco, I've tracked every penny coming in and every penny going out. And tracking everything has empowered me to catch and mitigate lifestyle creep. In 1 month, I saved $1,000 by calling customer support regarding a subscription that had gone unused for months, and I was able to get a refund. I also eliminated annual credit card fees by downgrading my existing credit card into one where the cost and the perks would better align with my current lifestyle as opposed to the time where I was traveling a lot and those perks just would have been more pertinent. My fifth financial habit is to identify my personal spending weaknesses and delete the apps from my phone that further enable these weaknesses. I know that after a long day or when I'm particularly exhausted and I've taken a shower and I've gotten into bed and the sun's going down, I have a tendency to order takeout. Takeout is my weakness. So what I did recently was I just deleted the DoorDash app from my phone. In doing so, I realized that I would rather go to the grocery store during those moments. And I found that by removing that convenience, I started going to the grocery store more or simply working with the meals and the ingredients that I had in my fridge that night. If I do find that I'm craving takeout on a particular day, I order during the happy hour window of afternoon or early evening when I get a discount of up to $5 or 25% off on certain restaurants in the DoorDash app. You guys, my sixth financial habit is actually a psychological one, and it's remembering that I am the customer. Despite my initial tendency to stay in places out of agreeability, whether it is a spa or a cafe or a restaurant, I actually started to leave if I felt like the service was disrespectful. Also, if I stopped somewhere and after browsing the menu, I realized that place was more expensive than what I thought it would be after I'd done my own research on Google beforehand, I chose to leave. I chose not to stay out of agreeability. This goes back to doing things in alignment with my sense of self-respect and taking this approach not only to my financial habits, but also in my interactions and approach to everyday life. My seventh financial habit is advocating for myself when something goes wrong. In San Francisco, we recently had a power outage. I was also left without cell service. Instead of taking that at face value, I actually decided to call my cell phone provider, explain the situation and how I was left without coverage, and I received a one-time credit to my phone bill for the next month. My eighth financial habit is to recognize that life is all about trade-offs. I lived in a studio apartment in Fittler Square in Philadelphia during my last year of business school, and I absolutely loved it. I had total control of the thermostat, but I made a decision when I moved into my current two-bed, two-bath in San Francisco to live with a flatmate. And that decision was more aligned with my near-term financial goals. And by living with a roommate, I'm saving up to $15,000 this year. That's money that I can put towards my student debt. I've also found that when I'm new to a city, living with a roommate or a flatmate can be a great way to have a built-in friend, especially as I reestablish my routines. A ninth financial habit is to limit skincare and makeup spend to refills only. As someone with combination acne-prone skin, I have spent years identifying the products that work for me. And truth be told, when I start to experiment or try new products or try to grow my makeup and skincare routine collection, I found that I'll use a product once and then it just sits there unused for 2 years until it gets tossed in a deep clean at that point in time. So my approach when it comes to skincare and makeup has become, why fix what's not broken? I also avoid shopping in Sephora or other makeup stores. Going into my order history in the app and simply reordering what I'm running low on helps me prevent impulsive spending, like purchasing that hair oil I know I'll only use once, or buying a product for whatever celebrity beauty line is in vogue at the moment. My 10th financial habit is paying my credit card statement balances on time and in full each month. I also don't close starter cards or really any credit card. I keep my credit lines open, pay the balances in full every month, and only spend what I can afford to pay off. My 11th financial habit is skipping the alcohol. Not only are drinks like cocktails incredibly expensive, but opting out of alcohol has helped me remove an extremely volatile variable from my life, adding better mood, better judgment, better sleep, better skin, and overall better decision making, and also better nutrition. Because what I found is typically drinking and going out comes with eating garbage at the end of the night, and skipping alcohol has never been more of a no-brainer in my life. Besides, I found that my true friends stick around regardless of whether I'm drinking socially. My 12th financial habit is having candid conversations about money, including sharing my current state, my plan, and my progress with my friends and trusted advisors. I've been a big proponent of this, and I actually even made a video on how I budget while living in San Francisco while working in technology. And it was actually a friend that told me that she was working on paying off her mortgage, and I've been working on paying down my student debt. And we actually decided, because we had pretty similar interest rates for our respective loans, to hold each other accountable for the monthly progress that we made on that. And it was actually a mentor of mine who encouraged me to put more aside in my emergency fund when I had a candid conversation about finances with him. My 13th and final financial habit is to invest in a good accountant. Just like there are non-negotiables for things that I will not spend on during this chapter of my life, there are non-negotiables for the things that I will continue to invest in. And a good accountant is one of those things, especially when you need to be compliant, timely, and need the services of a licensed expert in their field. And in general, I'm a big proponent of paying for services that require competence, compliance, and trust in the provider's capability. I found that having a good accountant is one of those things, especially if you're someone who has sources of income outside of a traditional W-2. And lastly, I've noticed that unless someone is already wealthy, it doesn't really matter if you catch and save on a $10 subscription, because especially in a city like SF, $10 is just a latte and a half, right? Well, I actually have found that a lot of money is psychological. Whether you commit to putting aside $50 in your 401k every month, or whether you commit to creating a budget and just staying on top of uncovering things like subscriptions that you might not have been using, I found that when I have conversations with my friends where we identify these tiny habits or just everyday discipline that we're able to commit to and observe and track over time, we feel more psychologically empowered. And I find a lot of psychological safety in knowing exactly what my runway is, in having a pulse on what is coming in and going out of my accounts every month, and overall having a goal that I can focus on and align myself with, even if it evolves over time. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe. I live in San Francisco and I graduated from the Wharton School with my MBA last year. I love making videos around financial competence and financial conversations, and I also share my slice of life on this YouTube channel. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.